Well, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra. We're broadcasting live right now from Tulum, Mexico. Um, the topic of this week, we're going to be talking about healing. There's been a lot of requests and questions ever since I attended the Boomi Gathering, Boomi Fest in Toronto. There's been a large number of audience, especially the Iranian speaking, my brothers, sisters, asking me questions about what I do and where does this power come from and what happens to people when I'm working with them, and a lot of curiosity and questions, which I'm very happy to address these topics, as well as just want to quickly explain this to everybody. This is an English-speaking platform for the moment. As of next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Time in Tehran, I will be broadcasting through Instagram and YouTube in Farsi language. So I'm just going to say this quickly in Farsi, so bear with me. دوستان عزیز از تمام ایرانیان عزیز از تمام کشورهای دنیا و ایران خیلی خوش اومدید. خیلی خوشحالم که اینجا هستین و از سه‌شنبه هفته آینده من به زبان فارسی روی اینستاگرام و یوتیوب خواهم تدریس کرد و برادکست میکنم و به زبان فارسی. این پلتفرمی که الان دارم به زبان انگلیسیه. این اکادمی منه که حدود از سال 2015 من برادکست کردم. برام اینه که دیگه اگه ممکنه تحمل کنین با من و پیشنت باشین لطفاً، و انشالله از سه‌شنبه هفته دیگه با هم دیگه کانکت میکنیم. و خیلی خیلی هم ممنونم برای این همه love، عشق و اتنشن و این کامنت های زیبایی که بر من فرستادید. خیلی متشکرم. من خیلی گریتفولم. خیلی بهم انرژی داد و این اصلا باعث شد که بخوام برای فارسی کشورهایی و دوستان گرامی ما از تمام فارسی، اون که فارسی صحبت میکنن، ببخشید فارسی من خیلی خوب نیست، براتون برادکست میکنم از این به بعد. Okay, thank you for your patience, my beloved friends. Let's talk about healing and the power of healing. Number one, I have to explain one thing, that there is only one healer. There's only has been one healer ever, and there will be only one healer here and from now on. And that one healer is the self. That one healer is God. Now, I know the word God, it triggers a lot of people, and it affects the consciousness and the awareness and the way of thinking of a lot of people. A lot of people think of God as a person or of an object, an entity, a being that is judgmental. And that's what we've been fed and we've been told and we've been brainwashed to believe. But that's not true. Once you find God inside yourself, around yourself, in your everyday life, then you will realize that it's all loving, it's a presence, it's everywhere, and it's almighty, it's unlimited, and it's got the power to transform anything at any moment, and it is operating through you at this moment and through everything else. And that's what it's a very small description of what God is, and beyond whatever that I speak of. So the presence, consciousness, the grand spirit, Lord God is the only power, the only one that heals. It's not the person. So when I do the healing work and you see this power comes and I touch people and they fall down, or the sound comes out of my mouth, and the energy which is created in the space, in the room, that transforms and heals people, it's not a personal power. This is not something personally belongs to me. It's not something that personally belongs to you or anybody. This is universal. This is a power that exists and is here at all times. And this power doesn't come and go. It's omnipresent. The reason that we're not experiencing it, or it appears that we're not experiencing it at every given moment, is because our limitations of our mind. It's because of where we're positioned in our lives at the present moment. Once that positioning changes and our mind opens up and we migrate from the head to the heart, the power of God appears and it shows itself to human beings. It's always here. This power, this presence, Her Majesty, the Supreme Being, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Soul, healing, it's always here, always. And we all have access to it. For example, healing is always happening to us in every level possible. If by any chance you, for example, you cut your finger or you get a cut on your face, it's not the doctors, it's not the medicine, it's not the ointment that heals it. It's the ability of the body that is also given by the Creator. It's our genetics, it's our makeup as humans in this race, or animals, or the nature. It has the ability of healing itself. It simply heals itself. So when you cut yourself and something happened to your body, it's the body that heals itself. It's not anybody else. Now, sometimes healing happens a lot quicker and sometimes it's slower. The reason that healing can happen quicker is because of the environment that we create for it. Everything grows or gets destroyed, appears and disappears based on the environment that is created. For instance, let's say certain kind of viruses, bacteria, funguses, they grow in an environment which is temperature-wise, it's hot or it's moist. Now, if you take this bacteria, microbes, viruses into a different environment that is extremely cold, then they can't grow, they die, or they become dormant. Similarly, the other way around, bringing certain kind of viruses that they thrive in, or bacteria that they thrive in cold temperature, and you bring them to the heat, they cannot grow and they die, or they become dormant. So when you want to heal something in your own body, you're working on something, is you have to understand that change, you have to create the right environment conducive to healing for your body, because the body has tremendous ability of healing itself. Same as the planet Earth has the ability of healing itself, even though we're continuously damaging it. We are dumping toxic waste or creating toxins through all kinds of pollution that we are creating, industrial pollution, and dumping it into the atmosphere, into the air, into the water, into the soil. But somehow, magically, the earth heals itself. Same thing with the nature. The nature heals itself. If there is a huge fire that happens somewhere, or there's been a blizzard, or there's been a hurricane, tsunami, and destroys a portion of the land, or the water, or the mountains, or the vegetation, eventually it heals itself and it recovers. And as time goes back, that part of earth and the vegetation or the land reverse things and goes back to the way it used to be. There are scars, but it heals itself. Animals are the same way. They do the same thing. They have the ability to get to heal themselves. So healing is what I want to do is I want to clear this mist, this hypothesis, this story that healing is limited or to just some healers or doctors or certain shamans only have the ability to heal. So let's clear this up. Every single human being, every being, and everything on this planet has the ability to heal itself, and it does. It's happening all the time. So you can look at your own body. Your body heals itself. So also, then the second thing is for us, when we're not doing well, something's happening in our body, is to create the right ecosystem, right environment, so our body can heal. So what are some of the right environments for the body to heal? Is, okay, you get proper rest. All healings happening based on rest. You have to stop and create time for your body to rest. So you're not stressing it, you're not putting any more pressure on it, you're not overeating. And because when we're eating, at the current time for majority human beings on this planet, 80 to 90% of the body's energy is going into digestion. Why? Because food is very available. And that's why we are overweight. Obesity is, especially like in countries like the United States, they have the highest number of obesity. It's because food is very much available, and we have gone into develop this mentality of culture that we're constantly putting things in our mouth, and we're eating food all the time. We're not fasting. We're not taking time. We're not hunting for food. Everything is super easy and available. And we don't even want to get out of our car to go into a place to order food. We rather stay in our car and go through a drive-through and order our coffee, our sandwich, our hamburger, or whatever it is. So, and also we have trained and been brainwashed to connect our emotions to eating. So as soon as something happens and we're becoming emotional, the first thing we do is either we're chewing something, eating something, drinking something, or putting a cigarette in our mouth, or blowing or sucking on something. So that's cultural. And it's been happening. It wasn't there 100 years ago or 200 years ago. We have been trained and brainwashed and programmed through the media, TV, movies, everything, to adopt these kind of habits, that when we're in an argument, something happens, somebody says something we don't like, immediately go and pick up a cigarette and put it in our mouth and suck on it. And that gives us a sense of comfort. This is a program. It's not a part of a natural way of a human being. Or the fact that, for example, let's say somebody says something, or I'm going through some emotional issues, and the next thing I do is I go to the store and I buy some ice cream and I start eating ice cream because that's comfort food. Or I just go eat some French fries with ketchup because that's comfort food. So these are cultural, and they're programs. So a big way of healing our bodies is by fasting systematically, not just cold cut fasting, not just all of a sudden suddenly, not going from eating to not eating completely and drinking water. No, systematically educating ourselves of what does fasting do, why we're fasting, how long we're going to be fasting, what is it aimed at, what is this fasting system works for, how does it work. It's education that we don't have. So there's many different ways that do exist, and they're free and they're easy, they're accessible, that can help us to create the ecosystem of helping the body to heal itself, because the medicine is not healing it. When you go to a normal physician and they give you some medication, that medication is genetically designed to mask the problem that you have. So if you have thyroid issue and you go to your doctor and they're giving you pills for medication for thyroid, that's not going to heal your thyroid. That's going to mask the problem. We have to look to see, where is the source of this issue? Why am I having thyroid issue? Where is it coming from? And then once we identify that, where it's coming from, then creating the ecosystem for the body to naturally heal itself by supporting it, not overeating, eating the right herbs and food, energetic food, giving the body a chance to recover, and resting, sunshine, exercise, positive thinking, meditation, avoiding noise, avoiding things that disturbs the natural healing ability of the body. There's many different ways that you can do it. And also, for those of you, my brothers, sisters, who are interested in energy healing, which is a part of what I have been teaching and doing, and been doing it for past 13 years around the world. Energy healing is something that has been around in different forms, whether it's hands-on healing, whether it's distant healing, it's psychic surgery, shamanic exorcism, sound healing. They all exist, they all work, they all have a purpose. But like anything else in life, anything, there has to be a know-how of how to use these tools and how to direct the energy. So that's by itself is a whole science that today, at this era in our time, slowly, humanity is beginning to wake up and to recognize the science behind healing work. Because for a very large amount of population around the world, hands-on healing, energy healing, it's to them it's bullshit. To them it's like it's meaningless, it means nothing, it's blah blah blah. Or a lot of people around the world, they look at it, oh yeah, it's kind of cute, but it's not real, or blah blah blah. But that's not true. That is very, very far away from the truth of what is. Energy healing is extremely powerful because it addresses the auric field of the body. And all disturbances in a human body and our psyche, emotional body, physical body, always begin to develop in the aura, in the auric field, energetic field of human beings. That's where they start, they originate. Now, I am not addressing genetic defections. That's a different story. Or let's say if they're kids who were born in Hiroshima or Nagasaki and they've been exposed, or their parents been exposed to nuclear radiation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about generally on average human beings. What happens is that the disturbances begin in the auric field. So when you come into the field of healing work is always very important that you begin and you start doing your work by touching, cleansing, and fixing the auric field of the person, which is a science by itself. This is not a voodoo. This is not like blah, blah, blah. It's a science. And only now in past 10, 20 years, there's devices that they can take the aura, take pictures of the aura of the people and examining it to see like when you work with the auric field, or when you're helping someone to raise their vibrations to a higher frequency, how it affects the auric field of the person and the general health of them. So that's one part of it. A part that is very, very important for us to realize, that I always teach this and share with my audience around the world when it comes in the field of healing, is that every single human being, and I'm talking about you, okay? I'm just talking directly to you, is you have healing abilities. You don't, this is not a mystical thing. This is not something we're dreaming. This is not something we're wishing. This is not something that is far away and it's in a distant future. This is something I'm talking about right now in this very moment. In this very moment, you may, if you haven't done this work, you may think most probably that you don't have it. But I'm telling you that you do. You've done it. You've done healing work all of your life. You're just not aware of it. Every single human being on this planet has the ability to do healing on their own, and they have the ability to do healing on other people. And it's happening all the time. We're just not trained to recognize it, because it's no longer in our culture. It was in our cultures 100, 200, 300, 500 years ago, but it has disappeared. So now we give up our power to what we call medical doctors, that they wear a white coat, which, and this is no insult or no by any means to knock out on the medical doctors. They're professionals, that they're doing beautiful work, and they're very selfless, and they're really helping humanities. But that's only one aspect of the healing work. And yes, it's very much needed, and I am very grateful to all the medical professionals that they're doing their work selflessly and they've dedicated their lives to it. But that is not the only way. That is one of the ways. And unfortunately, it's limited, because that way, combined with natural healing and energy healing, would be very, very, very powerful. But unfortunately, it's not profitable for the pharmaceutical companies, because that's not what they want. They want to be able to sell their medications. So, but that's a different story, and I don't need to get into that. But what I would like to do is, for the moment, is to remind you of your own natural abilities of being a healer. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples so it becomes clear for you that you have been using your healing abilities, but you just don't know it. You don't know you have healing abilities. So, for example, when every single mother that has a child is a healer, and they're already done healing work. And the question is like, okay, how do I do healing work? It's very, very simple. Let's say you have your child in your arms, and you are moving the child. The baby is crying, and you start singing to the baby. You know, it's like you do lullaby. Da 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 da, whatever language and sound. In different cultures, we do different kind of singing or hushing or shh, 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 okay? And calming the child down so the child falls asleep. That's sound healing. You're whispering and singing to your child while you're having a rocking motion and holding the child in your arms. That's sound healing. And every single mother on this planet has done that. So that's sound healing. Is not just to have a didgeridoo or having a drum or having a flute or having the shakers or an instrument. Sound healing is whispering, singing, whistling, talking very gently to somebody. How many times it has happened, like your partner is stressed, comes home to you, whether it's your husband, wife, or your children, they're super stressed, they feel angry or sad or humiliated or something, and you're talking to them and you're calming them down, and they feel better. That's healing. So that's one thing. What about, for example, if a child falls down and hurts his arm, and what do you do as a mom? I mean, I come from Persian culture, Iranian culture. So a lot of times we pick up the child and we say, okay, let me kiss or blow at the area that hurts. And like 30 seconds after, the child starts laughing and smiling and giggling. So, so that's a form of healing. You know, you didn't do, it's very simple. It's extremely simple. So you're just, oh, my child, come over here. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Let me just, let me kiss the wound and let me blow at it, and then the pain is gone. What about your mom or your daughter, or something happened to them and they got some bad news? What do? Your best friend, something happened to them and they come to you. What do? You hug them and you hold them in your arms and you just hold them. That's hands-on healing. They start feeling better. You don't need to go to school for that. You don't need to spend money to learn that. You've already done it and you're continuously doing it. No one ever told you that you're doing that. So you think you have to go somewhere, pay someone money to do that for you because they know and you don't. But I'm telling you, you already know these things and you're already having it and you're already using it. It's just you've never put it in this content, this way of understanding it in this way. So we're designed in this era to give our power away to other people, to the experts. But we do have the power within ourselves because you are the one you're looking for. You're already there and you have it within yourself. So I want to help you to discover your own power. So together we can grow, and together we can transform this planet, and we can move on to a higher level of consciousness that doesn't have to deal with this kind of suffering on this planet that people do. But that starts with me and that starts with you by bringing our attention inwards, by looking inside and discovering the truth of who we are, activating our inner silence, activating our own power rather than giving it away and waiting for somebody else to do it for us. No, 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 no. That was the old way. That's finished. No more. We're going to turn things around together. So I just very quickly shared with you 3 healing abilities that you have, and you've been doing it. And it's very, very simple, isn't it? Does anyone have any questions from, first of all, I need to insert one thing is right now, this is my 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I am broadcasting live through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. But in order for me to communicate with you directly, you need to register through my website, zarathustra.tv, and connect with me through the Zoom platform. That way I can see you and you can see me and we can talk to each other. Just letting you know. I don't have the ability to answer questions directly on Insta because it's just not possible. Right, so any questions from, I know we got some chats here. Let me just take a look what we got. And then we go from there. Reiki's, okay. Arka, Samantha. Hi, Arka, Samantha. Here, Reiki is an example of this in healing. I'm energy treatment practitioner. Voodoo and voodoo are also scientific. That's cute. Which, where's our, do you want to speak to me directly, Arka? Samantha, do you want to talk to me? You can unmute yourself and we can talk if you feel like it. Okay. I don't know if you're still there or not. Anyone has any questions or any inputs? You're welcome to unmute yourself and talk to me. Hi, Mahtab.
Hi.
Welcome.
Salam.
Salam.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet
I
you
think
too.
we have connected on Instagram. I believe so. I'm not sure.
We have.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm really happy I'm here and I try to learn a new thing from you. And thank you for your you spent your time for us, and I am really grateful. And thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Go ahead. Do you? Right.
I have some experience in that way, and I have a lot of special um, skills. And now it is time for me. I want to manage my energy, and I want to learn how can I healing myself and other people around me. And it is a big deal and a big thing for me, and I think I can learn a lot of things from it. And I'm still here for learning.
Right.
I think when I'm silent, I can learn more.
Yeah, well, you said the right word. The most powerful element that we were born with, outside of self-love, which love is always here, is which is our ability to be able to develop silence, to become quiet. And this is what I'm referring to is completely the opposite of the world trend. What's happening in the world and with anything that is happening is to distract us and to get our minds activated. So we get into this habit and get programmed to overthink, think all the time. And overthinking brings our vibrations lower. We go to a lower frequency through thinking. Thinking is not elevating our vibrations, it's the opposite. So, what also is happening is we are bombarded by instant news because of our technology allows us to communicate and be able to send and deliver news instantly from across the globe. So, if you pay attention, you see our TV channels, the system and the media is basically is designed to operate, and it feeds off of negative news. And you don't hear many positive news. Majority of it is negative news. And the negative news gets your mind activated. It creates fear, worry, and anxiety. Anxiety, when we go through anxiety, the body creates certain hormones. And these hormones, they damage our intestinal tract. We have 80% of our immune system in our intestinal tract, and 95% of our neurotransmitters in our digestive tract. So when we're constantly are fed with anxiety, we destroy our immune system, and we create a toxic environment in our bodies, and we become very susceptible to pathogens and getting diseases, viruses, fungus, oxidation of our cells. So people can start looking old very quickly, or they start developing a lot of health issues. So, and that comes a lot of it from stress and the hormones that are being produced by stressing. So one of the ways of healing ourselves and healing the planet and serving the humanity overall, but first you have to start with yourself, is to develop inner silence, to become the Buddha, to become quiet, and to create the environment, the habit, and the ability of not thinking. And the less you think or you disconnect yourself from the mind, you can see it. We can try it right now. In a few seconds, you can experience that your vibrations already begin to rise. You start vibrating from a much higher frequency through simply not thinking. Silence. And when we begin to raise our vibrations to a higher frequency by elevating that, is a number of different things happen. Number one is the outer world, the world that we're perceiving and we're dealing with, is a projection of our inner world. It is a manifestation of what is happening within ourselves. As we're progressing and we start becoming more quiet through meditation or different various breath work or different kind of techniques and ways that helps human beings to go deeper within themselves and become more quiet, as we're on that path, we begin to raise our vibration and go into a different channel of reality. So the channel changes. And in this change, what happens is all of a sudden, the connection we have with the other world starts to change. And the quality of our lives changes. This has nothing to do with changing things in the outer world. This has everything to do with changing things in our inner world. And then the body starts to change, the psyche, the emotions begin to change, because we have elevated our consciousness to a newer, higher level of understanding. So that automatically begins to help your mind to open up from a one-dimensional way of thinking and observing that it's either black or white. That's how the mind works. It's either here or there. It's day or night. It's man or woman. And you're opening the mind into a broader perspective. And in that opening, what happens is there's a shift happens in your connection with the universe. Is you are, rather than being in control of life and trying to make everything happen really hands-on, you are kind of letting go of this imaginary wheel of a shift in your attitude that you're just kind of kicking back. because you're not stressing, your mind is not going crazy. And in this kicking back, things start to come to you. It opens up, space opens up. And in this expansion of space, since you are one with the universe, you're not separated from life. You've never been separated from life. In this shift of relaxing, all of a sudden, space opens up and life starts to throw goodies at you. Things start to come. Things come to you. The body starts to heal. You feel a deep sense of relaxation. You become more easy with everything. You don't get upset over things. You're not panicking. You're not stressing, because you're now are tuning in and in harmony with life, harmoniously with the rhythm of life, with the breath of the planet Earth. The planet Earth is a living entity, and it's got its own rhythm of breathing. So when we're not breathing with the planet, we're not in harmony of breathing with the planet. Obviously, there's tension because we're colliding with the small body is colliding with the bigger body. But when we're relaxing into it, our breath becomes harmonious with the breath of the planet. Then you start seeing things are falling into places. Like, you may think it's synchronicity, or maybe you may think this is accidents, that, oh wow, it's amazing, things are really going my way. It appears to be that way, but you're relaxing in the flow of life. And something that we have lost because we're not living in tribes anymore. We're disconnected from the nature. We're not spending time alone by ourselves. We don't go on nice hikes. If we live in a city where there's parks, but people don't use them. They don't go there. They just look at it, but they don't use it. We go to supermarket. We go to the mall. We're not spending time by ourselves. We're not just going to a park, sit there, and just kind of not do anything. We go to a park, we sit on a bench, and we're on our phone. So there's this disconnection that has happened, and it's very easy to correct it.
I want to say you a point.
Yes.
You tell us we sit in the bunch and we are still looking our phone. It is like a silent. Be a silent. Your mind must be a silent when you are in the nature. You must sit in bunch and without thinking, without any emotions feeling in your body, only flow and flow in the energetic from the nature. And it is a kind of silence. We have a lot of silence way. It is not only be a silent, don't say any word. Silence had a lot of meaning. A kind of meaning for silent, it's a silent thinking, silent say something, silent judge another people, silent to think a lot of it about the future or past, silent about us. We can be a silent for many things. And what do you say now? It is a kind of silence too.
You're absolutely right. 100%. Very well said, my dear. Yes. The silence that I speak about is really not about not speaking or not doing something. is about operating from silence and recognition of the part of ourselves which is silent, the part of ourselves which is watching. It's quiet, it's observing, and it's here. And when we begin to shift our attention from it of a constant attention on our thoughts or continuously being paying attention to our emotions, trying to fix them, we shift our attention into the part of us which is aware and observing our thoughts and our emotions, as well as our body. When we learn to shift our attention to that part, then we discover inner silence and we operate from silence. You're absolutely right. What you said is completely correct.
I think I have experience. I have little daughter, and she gave me a lot of advice about our emotion, and she find all the time reason why she crying, why she do that, and why she make me angry, or she's not happy. When she have a some bad feeling, she cannot told me exactly in that time why she do something like that, because she's not big, she's a small girl. But it is since 2 weeks I learned from my daughters. I must um, be like a person in the cinema, and I see my life like a movie, and I see my reaction, I see my thinking, I see my how I reacted during my day about a lot of different things, and I must find a route. And when I go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I can find from my grandma and grandpa, and from mother, from my grandma, and something like that. And it is at the first time it will be you must pay a lot of attention, and you must thinking all the time about a lot of things. And but after 1-2 weeks it will be automatically, and maybe in not in short time, but when you want it, when you want to manifest your thing and your feeling,
Right.
and your reaction, I think after 1 year or 6 months you can change your genetically reactions. And we don't have any experience about some things like that, because we didn't learn in school and in society. And I think I want to share this experience with another people, but you can speak more than you can open it.
Yes. I have to share something with you, my dear, is that I in my teachings and everything that I transmit, we do not promote working on emotions or any sort of activating more thinking. So, I mean, I hear what you said, and if it works for you, it's good for you. I mean, I would just say if it's good to you, it's good for you. But my teaching is everything it goes back to inner silence. I don't do therapy, I don't work on emotions and things like
Yes.
that, where we only aiming at observing them and not being engaged with them. So, and the reason for that is because in my own experience is the quickest way to self-realization. But if that works for you, go for it.
Um, um, Actually, I do a Kundalini yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and I all the time try to be connect with my soul and deeply in my mind. I don't know every single people say give a word and name to this Kundalini divine, something like that. We have a different way and different name for that, and I didn't want to judge anybody and say something about anything, but my experience is that it is a two different way. When you want to uh, when you want to connect it, it is a short and easy and harmonic, and I think it is with us is a connection. And when you connect yourself, you will become everything easy and faster.
Yes.
But it will be nice when the people uh, learning to manifest everything.
I have to cut you off here because I don't teach personal manifestation. Um, my teaching completely opposite of that. Here we're not doing anything as a person. We get out of the way and let God do whatever God wants to do. And my experience has been it's millions of times more powerful when when I'm not in the way and God does the work. But I really appreciate what you're sharing with you. I want to give someone else an opportunity to ask a question or share with me. So, Shadi, you have anything to say?
What I actually wanted to ask is might not be relevant to this academy session. And I think Hilda had asked about it once a while back, and it was in regards to the awareness of the awareness. But that's something that if it speaks to you at another time, I would like to have a better guidance to that.
Right. Yeah, I remember you had brought it up before in the past, and the now we're basically in a way going to a different channel of awareness. That there is this initial, it goes into levels. Like on the very base is the human beings are living, which they're in control of the planet, they're in control of the finances of the planet and the politics and the resources of the planet, that they're completely self-absorbed and unconscious, and there's no self-awareness. It's only their design is the me, and what can I do for myself or my family. But then there comes a point that self-awareness kicks in, that you begin to observe your own behavior, the way you're thinking, and questioning it. So there's a self-awareness comes in. And then it goes to the next level, that it goes deeper. It goes deeper, that you may question that where is this awareness? What is this awareness that is aware of itself? And that's where I mentioned about the awareness of the awareness. Because when I'm self-observing, I'm observing, let's say, my thoughts, and I have this, because as I mentioned, ordinarily, normal human being is really believing their thoughts. Whatever they're thinking is who they think they are, or whatever they're feeling, and they're trying to fix these feelings and dealing with it. Again, they're identified with it, or their identification is with their body, that they're this body. And then, of course, then identification comes with your race, your nationality, your religion, your community, your family, or your tribe. But when your awareness starts to expand and you're starting to awaken, then you're questioning these things. So you've gone into a different level, and or you're trying to work on yourself, you have anger issues, you have addictions. Now, the awareness means you have become aware of your reactions. You have become aware of your anger issues. You've become aware of your addictions. So, which is a good thing. You've gone to the next, you've graduated the first level and you've gone to the second level, which is wonderful. Then when you go deeper, then you may be asking questions like, who am I? Who is this Zarathustra? Where did I come from? Where was I before I was born? And where am I going to go after I die? And then this awareness, this part of me, which is the observer, and it's observing my thinking, and it's observing my emotions. Who is aware of that? Now we're talking about going really deep in self-awakening. And that's what I meant by the awareness of the awareness, which basically we're talking about arriving at the seat of this guy behind me, the Buddha, where it's pure silence. It means you have come into the emptiness and or nothingness or pure presence of your own being. You are becoming aware of that there is something here which is unchangeable, and it's always here. Because even the part that the awareness comes, that is aware of the thoughts, the emotions, or the body, it's still something that comes and goes. It's not continuously there. And when I talk about the awareness of awareness, is that which never comes and never goes. And that's like that is the final destination, which is full awakening takes place. Is this making any sense? Yeah, go ahead. Let me just one moment see Mary answers, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Mary, you can unmute yourself.
Is it like the awareness? To me, it's like, I know one of my Reiki teachers was talking about, of course you have to heal yourself in order to heal others. I mean, you can do it, but there's still, I feel like we're always in this a process of healing. But she talked to me about to like be self-aware is to connect to your soul, like the source, the heart, center, and to dance with your soul to get,
Yes.
And I feel like what you're saying, what you said about like looking at yourself from a different place, like having that self-awareness, but from like looking outside of yourself, and especially, I know me personally, sometimes I let my emotions take over, you know, in certain situations, and then I have to, but then I was like, I have to sit, you know, take a step back and say, well, I could have handled that situation better, or you know, and also coming always from trying to come back to the center and coming
Right.
from a place of love,
Right.
you know. So I feel like we have this physical body, but like our energy, our soul, is what kind of connects us all. And I know that, you know, we get caught up in this physical world and things, but I think when you get to a certain place of awareness and you're able to raise your vibration, you come to a point where you're not affected by that, you know, all of that's
Right.
around, and you can come back to the
Right.
center
Right.
and through meditation. And that's kind of what I'm trying to work on.
Right.
You know, so being aware of the awareness is definitely a goal, or, you know, how to get there.
Right.
In order
Yeah.
to be
Yes. Yeah. So basically is that you're practicing Reiki, you've become a healer, you're doing healing work, you have come into the world of the spirit, there's consciousness, you're aware of your diet, you're aware of food, maybe you're eating organically or trying mostly doing that, or then there's conversations of maybe chemtrails and conscious conversations that are happening in conscious communities right now. So we get to a point that we arrive into that place. But that is only one level, because it's still the person, Mary or Shadi or Zarathustra, is still identified. There's a strong identification with a person that is doing something and needs to work on itself. There's an identification with it. There's an identification with the emotions. Oh yeah, sometimes these strong emotions come and maybe I react to it, but I'm also working on it to calm it down. Okay? You said something like this, correct? Yeah. All right. Then there's the next level. The next level is arriving at this conscious, aware place that is not identifying itself with the emotions. It's feeling the emotions. It's allowing the emotions to rise and fall, but it's not identified with it. Now, let me make this a little bit clear. We're not talking about not feeling. We're not talking about positive feeling. We're not talking about Superman and numb, that we're not experiencing emotions. We're talking about allowing all emotions to be expressed and experienced, but there's a detachment to them. We're not owning it as me. We're simply experiencing them, but they're not happening to you. And that is the next level, that you rise above that. Because here's the hang up. Majority is of spiritual people on the planet that working on themselves, and they're very sincerely working on yourself, such as yourself and a lot of my audience. They really mean it. They all want to have a better world, better environment for themselves and other people. They want to save the planet, our environment, the animals. They want to have a healthy system, which is very admirable, and have come to that understanding and the awareness that the old system is not working and is very unconscious. But still, there's a involvement with the story because the conscious way is also a story. It's not the ultimate. And you can evolve out of that and rise above it, because the conscious way that we talk about, I just talked about, it's still operating based on righteousness. It's still operating based on right and wrong, what's right and what's wrong. Where the master comes, where the Buddha comes, is the freedom of right and wrong, is to rise above righteousness or wrongness, is to rise above it and to go and see what is behind and the source of what's right and what's wrong. Who is really pulling the trigger for people to do the wrong stuff and people do the right things? Who is their power source? Where do they derive their power? And that's where you want to look into if you want to become free. You already done the emotional part, working and trying to fix the emotions. And you don't want to be stuck there, because it's very sweet. It was a great journey, but it's also a trap. You have to rise above that. Where is the source of all wrongdoing and right doing? Who's behind that? Who powers it? For example, electricity. Would you say electricity is a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing, because if we don't have electricity, we can't power our refrigerator, our computer, our TVs, our home, our air conditioning, oven, cars, whatever it requires. But could electricity be used for negative ways? We can use electricity to electrify someone. So let's say we want to kill him and we electrify him. So electricity is neutral. We cannot blame electricity for what happens. Same electricity is going to power our refrigerator and keep our food fresh from rotting. But the same electricity could be used for nuclear power. Same electricity could be used for powering a jet engine or a rocket, which we're going to drop in a city and kill 10,000 people. And it's being run by electricity. So electricity cannot be blamed, because it's a power source. It's the usage of it, which it's righteous or not. What we've been doing in the conscious community is we're putting a lot of attention on right and wrong. Now the time has come and to follow the path of the few, like Jesus or Buddha or the Krishna or the awakened ones who went beyond right and wrong. They evolved, they arose, and they went to the next level. The next level is to discover the source. What is giving power and electricity to the dark forces and to the right forces? Are they generating their own electricity, or it's all coming from the oneness? You want to look for that. And in digging and investigating that, you may discover freedom. You may become free and free yourself from the wheel of karma. Feel yourself from suffering once you discover that. And that's what has happened for me. But it's a personal, in a way, it's no longer personal, but it was a personal journey to come to that understanding. I can tell you what that is, and many other people who have arrived to this place, they can say it, but you have to discover that for yourself. Otherwise, it's meaningless. All right, so just want to share with my audience that my website is called Zarathustra.tv. We're currently on this path of making some changes, including our broadcasts. We're learning, we're evolving. There's a lot of things that I'm learning that I didn't know before. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting time. If you have any questions, you want to communicate with me, you can send me a message on Instagram, or you can send an email to me, which is, my email is info@zarathustra.tv, or just message me on Instagram. I'm a lot more involved these days, and I read my messages. Getting like 20, 30, 40 messages a day. So sometimes it's going to take me time to get back with you. Be patient. But if you want a quicker response, is best is if you email to me, info@zarathustra.tv. My website is zarathustra.tv, and my social media pages are Zarathustra 5D. I will be traveling to Europe in October 1st. I have a tour of 4 different countries. So in case if you are in Europe and you feel a draw, that you feel like coming to one of my events, please go to my website and you can register there, and you can contact us and ask for questions. As well as I do offer a retreat. It's a shamanic retreat in Tulum, Mexico, and that's going to be at the end of January 2004. I only have space for 20 people. So if you're interested, you're welcome to register or contact us. Well, we have come to the end of our academy. I appreciate your being here. Next Tuesday, I will be broadcasting in Farsi language for my Iranian brothers, sisters from all over the world. And following next Wednesday, we will be broadcasting in English. I thank you for being here. It's nice seeing you. Stay in your heart. Don't deviate from your direction that you're going. You're following your heart. You're listening to your heart. And I know there is confusion, and there are times that things look messy, or you're confused that you're doing the wrong thing. Come back to your center and know one thing, that you're guided. Everyone carries God. The very breath you take is an indication that God loves you, and you are one with our Maker. So come back to your center. Don't doubt yourself. Doubts do rise, but they're thoughts. Come back into your center and know that you are, if you're getting this message, know that you're on the right path and you're guided. So there's no way out. You're being loved and you're guided. So just know that. I send you my love and light. Namaste.
Zarathustra, just
Yes.
one more thing.
Yes, please.
Just for clarification, for those who are interested to join the Academy on Tuesday for the Farsi speaking, are you going to also add a registration link on your website like you have for this Wednesday, so they could join on, is it going to be a Zoom for them to join?
No, we've decided not to do it on the Zoom because apparently the internet bandwidth is not very strong for for people who live in Iran. So from what I've investigated, many of them may not be able to join in on the Zoom. So the broadcast is going to be on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and then maybe in the future, I may be able to create a platform that they can connect with me and ask questions. But for the moment, we're thinking about taking that route. Okay, namaste. Amir, I will give you a call later. Yeah.
Recording